of Nights with Ricky. I'm your gracious host, Ricky Reeves. And here's my best friend over there on the left, on your left,
On
Neil
your left,
404.
your right, your left.
Welcome to the show again.
Oh
Welcome
yeah.
to the show again. So you got that Georgia Tech on tonight.
Oh yeah, man. I'm representing down south. You know what I'm saying? All day, every day. We good, man. So yeah,
That's
man.
right.
Let's talk, man. Like the conversation what we talking about today.
Yeah, what we're going to get into? Let's. There's a lot to talk about. So what we're going to get into?
Yeah. So I guess, man, we had this discussion before, man, but we're gonna talk about the hypersexual male.
Yeah, that's good. It's a good subject right there. Let me put that in there. That's gonna be a good one to talk about.
Yeah, definitely.
Because no one ever talks about that. No one ever
talks about that, man. It's nothing to be discussed, but at the same time, it should be because everybody think they can't be in undefeated in that regard, but we're gonna talk about it.
All right. So like the hypersexual male, pretty much. Let's give a definition. What is the definition of the hypersexual male?
Well, the hypersexual male is a nigga that I always talk about. Shit, can I give a little vulgar in this regard? Can I do that?
Go ahead.
A nigga that always talk about pussy, but at the same time, it takes away from you doing the job that you need to do as a man. But you always worry about how about get pussy, and that's not how it should always be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. It's like somebody that's what's on their mind at all times. I mean,
all times, right.
Like I've seen situations at my places of employment, my former places of employment, and the one I'm at now, and it's just amazing to me that like, damn, dude, like you can't just focus on working for even 5 hours at that. You got to worry about getting off at work. Like it's amazing to me, that's a big problem.
But you know what? It becomes a problem because the fact that, like, man, you would be surprised that a lot of guys that we know and all that stuff, like, they put that as a high priority of doing a job and all that because they can actually get a job and then go about when they get the job to seek out pussy. And I'm like, that is your whole concept of getting to the position that you at? And my thing is, it shouldn't always be about that. Like, here's my thing. As a man, of course, we love women. But at the same time, there has to be a cap of how we put women into that threshold of doing, like, things that we need to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not going to always be the priority of doing things where it neglects what we need to do as a man. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. Like, self-control. That's such, remember I used to tell you when we was kids, when we was young men, kids.
Right.
I used to be like, make sure you control your urges.
Right.
Because if you don't control your urges, they will control you eventually. And see, this is a bad thing about a hypersexual male, right? If you keep that behavior going, it's going to end up leading you becoming an eventual sex offender. And it's going to lead to worse things down the line. I mean, it's going to lead to worse things down the line.
You're right about that. And my thing is, like, that's funny you say that because I didn't have conversations with cats I know I'm cool with, you know what I'm saying? But they didn't tell me stories about where, they was trying to get the pussy and all that stuff, but then they had some circumstances that came around where you know, they was out there in the cold, you know, and all that shit. I'm like, for real? Like, did you really have to go to that certain extent where you wanted it, but at the same time, you know, you find yourself in a place where you couldn't, you know, do the same that you wanted to. I'm like, wow, that's crazy, bro.
And it's just like the lengths that they'll go to get the pussy. It's
Yeah.
amazing to me. Like, I'm the type where, okay, I could be home on a Saturday night, you know, just chilling out. I could get a text message. Hey, you want to come over? I could literally say no. I have that much control because I'll be like, well, I got to go to work tomorrow. I got to work 12 hours. I'm not going to, like, you know, risk my job to go over here for a few hours, and I'm going to end up probably having to stay over here, and it's going to just cause a bunch of conflict and everything that I got to do in my priorities.
Right.
But you know, what percentage would you say of males that do not do that discipline? What is the percentage you think?
Man, shit, man, that's 80%, dog. Like, I would say it'd be like between 80%, shit, damn near 90% of men, like, well, I'll put that like this. It would be more between 80% and 90% of black men of thinking that they have to have pussy to function. And when I say that, because I'm thinking on the fact, like, we've known cats like us. You know what I'm saying? There's a certain percentage of us, like for me and you, like we know, like, we're not driven off trying to get a woman in that regard, like get a woman to have fun with and all that shit. But at the same time, we're you know, we like to have fun, but we have our priority too. And I think when it comes down to it, it's like a lot of men, black men, don't hold that in regard. They want to have the position, but then they also want to have the what do you call it? The goddamn they want the piece on top, the whipped cream on top. Fuck it, whipped cream on top, all that shit. And when they did that, then they become like, I don't know, man. They do the most and all that shit, and then they end up losing their fucking job, bro. I kid you not. I'm on a fucking island right now, right? There's been three jobs. Black men held those jobs, got kicked off the island because of pussy, because they was too hypersexual and they couldn't keep their dick in their pants, and then they got caught up because somebody knows something of them, and then they got kicked off the island, bro. That's crazy.
So you mean to tell me that 3 black males from America with a great opportunity to go to the Marshallese Islands,
right?
They lost that over a piece of ass.
Facts. Pussy.
See, that's amazing to me. Like, that's an opportunity that especially a lot of black men like us do not get.
Right.
It is rare to get that. And for you to just, I gotta get this foot. You're gonna risk your job for that, and you lost it. That's pretty sad. That's a very sad case.
No, it's fucked up because of the fact that, like, man, like, me personally, I'm a black man, and I feel like I'm not going to do the most to get something. Like, if I'm attracted to a woman that I want to fuck with, given the fact that, you know, circumstances that, you know, where we at and all that stuff. If I'm gonna shoot my shot, I'm gonna shoot it. If I don't get it, then fuck it, man. That's just what it is. And then guess what? I'm gonna go about my day and all that shit. But you have to realize, like, some men are really shooting a shot and they can't negate the fact that no is the answer. And they being persistent with that. I'm like, wow, like, you really gonna keep going. You know what I'm saying? And that's the problem with a lot of black men. I think in today's age, like, you know, like, you think like you got it, but when you get shot down, you want to keep persisting of keep going. And it's like, no, women outnumber men. So what? I'm a firm believer of having the fact that there's more women out here than men. So why trip over the woman that neglects you, knowing the next woman can pick you up? And that's always been my biggest argument. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I totally understand that. So I'm going to ask you this question then. What percentage of males, their focus for even working to even make money is pussy, is having sex, is sex. That's the reason why they got a job.
Bro, that's like 50%. Well, I mean, it depends on the ethnicity of the males, man. Because me personally, if we talking about black men, I'm talking about that's 50-50, half and half. Now, you talking about white men or another ethnicity, it's different, bro. Like, they don't really trip off that. You know what I'm saying? They trying to get their bread and they gonna go about that shit. But at the same time, me just talking about like black men and all that shit, nigga, that's 50-50, bro. Because I wouldn't even put it 50-50, man. It could be higher than up than that. It'd be like shit. 100, 80-30, goddamn. That right. Shit. No, 80-20. 80-20. 80-20, my bad.
Hey, that's
yeah,
that's
80-20. That's
it is funny. It is funny you say that because it's like, damn. So now when I go to these jobs now and I see, I'm gonna just be looking at it like, is his motivation here for himself to get a better situation for himself?
Right.
Like, I really believe that's like a lot of their motivation going into work to make money. Like, okay, I need to get these women. I need to keep up this lifestyle. It ain't for me. It's so I can get these women. That's all I'm going to work for. And that's all backwards.
No, it's ass backwards. And I be thinking to myself, like, bro, like it really is about trying to get the woman that you want. But my thing is like, do you and be on your purpose. And that's the whole thing I've learned now as a grown ass man. Like, I'm 40 years old, but being on your purpose will get the women that you want. You know what I'm saying? My thing is that I've learned now that a lot of men that we knew and all that shit, they was basing their clout based off the fact that how they could get, how many women they could pull. And then you're pulling women, but you're not getting the clout. And you probably could pull a female when she's doing the same shit, but at the same time, she gonna peep game based on the fact that you ain't providing for her and all that shit. And then guess what? You left out in the cold, and then you gotta move and shake how you do that. But a lot of motherfuckers don't see that. It's all about based off the fact that nowadays how women are seeing things and doing things, that a lot of women are like, shit, they making their own money too. So now, like, they looking at the fact, like, what can you do or be the type of person that they like. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you have a bomb ass personality as a man, you probably can get in and with that, like, we do it do that to get into your life. But at the same time, how long are you gonna last with that? You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing. Like, now, how men used to navigating all that shit, women are pulling the same car and all that, and guess what? They actually winning. They're winning with that because now they can weed niggas out where they can't just be sweet talking and back diving and all that shit. It's a different way. You know what I'm saying? Like, now you gotta pull a whole thing out your back ass pocket just to impress the female. Men can not easily impress women nowadays. It's a whole nother thing, bro.
That is true. It is. I kind of believe there is some men that can still do that, you know, because there's some men that got less than, and they can, you know, I have seen women that are like doctors sleep with a man that didn't have a job at all. Like I've seen that several times. It just
no, I ain't trying to cut you off, so brother. But here's the real thing. Women really do control access to their body, but at the same time, they really can control how they want to interact with men. You know what I'm saying? And when I say that, I'm saying it based on the fact, like, if a man has a personality or he shows some type of clout of who he is, and they like it, they gonna roll with that shit, bro. And then guess what? They inadvertently they can elevate a motherfucker that ain't got shit and then go over there like that. And that's how they do it. You know what I'm
saying? Right. Yeah, man. The hypersexual male, it's a dangerous male.
No, it's dangerous. It's
like dangerous. You know, like right now, it is 2:20 in the morning here in the Mile City. There is thousands of hypersexual males roaming them streets right now.
Hey,
for, like on the prime.
They simp. You know why? and you know what? If we really gonna have this conversation and women hear this, a nigga that's out in the morning trying to just look for pussy is a simp because he's trying to find you to get his rocks off. But at the same time, he's not doing nobody no disservice because of that, because it's based off the fact that he's just trying to do what the fuck he gotta do. Me personally, like, if I'm busy as a man, like a true beta man, I think you a beta too as well. Like, we not worried about that, man. Nigga, we gonna have our own thing going on where I'm not even concerned if she's awoke or none of that shit. But my thing is that we just doing our thing, and then we wake up the next morning, and that's what it is. But a hypersexual man is really the motherfucker that's trying to call bitches up at like 3 in the morning and trying to get them up, you know, do their thing and all that shit. It ain't working, motherfucker. It ain't working.
It's like, have I made those 3 o'clock in the morning calls before in my life?
No.
Yes, I have.
I know I didn't.
You know, I have, but it hasn't been overboard. It ain't been overboard. It ain't overkill.
All right, you're right. You probably have, but at the same time, if you didn't get the answer back, guess what, nigga? You just went back to sleep.
I'm going to bed. I'm going to bed.
Hypersexual male, don't continue to call. Don't continue to call and have. Hey, if he can't get what he can get, nigga, we 4 o'clock in the morning trying to have that conversation. I'm like, but why? Like, it's not that serious. You know, I love women, but at the same time, I'm not bending my back over for a female. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not. And
this is another thing. This is another thing with the hypersexual male, right? Like, I'm good enough with, hey, if you want to send me pictures and videos, I'm good with that too. Like,
hey,
you know, that's still good enough for me. Hypersexual males, that's not enough. they still need to do that at that moment. And that's when it can lead you into trouble.
Facts. And I would say this, like, hypersexual males is pretty much the man that always want to have the reaction they get from a woman, and if they don't get it, they gonna pressure you to do it. And see, and this is the thing that I think a lot of women have this conversation of, like, being like fuck boys and all that shit. Hypersexual males, that's what it is. Like, let's be honest. Like, a real man, like me personally, I can fuck with a female, but at the same time, I'm not going to go overbearing to get her attention. Like, hey, if you're not responding to what I put out there to you, it is what it is. But a hypersexual male is mainly a man that would just go out his way to get your attention and you get it, and that nigga fumbling that shit like a football, and then he makes it worse. You know what I'm saying? And it goes against on the fact of like he's just doing the most of trying to get your attention, and like that's what he do. You know what I'm saying? Me personally, and I'm gonna say this right now, hypersexual males is motherfuckers that pay for OnlyFans. Cause they're paying for pussy. Simps. Like I know we're saying hypersexual, but technically hypersexual is simps. You paying for it. You're really paying for the pussy, dog. Like you just paying for it. You want
So
to
that
get the
brings me
reaction,
back.
but at the same time, you want to get her attention. But I mean, are you really getting it? Or are you not? You know what I'm saying?
So that brings me back to that question. Is that the motivation for when they go to work? Is for that stuff. You know? I'm going to go to work this week. I'm going to go to work this week, get $600, and I'm going to spend some of that on that OnlyFans. That's my motivation.
So let me ask you, do you feel like me personally, like let's have this conversation. Like, do you feel like dudes really do that? Like they go to work to just have that clout to actually pay for something for a female?
I absolutely believe it. I started believing this about 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I was about 28, and I was just like talking to like dudes that I've worked with in the past and that I was working with. And like I'd be like, so is this what you really want? I would be like, oh, this is what you really wanted to do when you was in college and stuff. They'd be like, nah, man, I'm just doing this so I can, have enough money to, get hoes. And I said, get hoes.
Right.
And they was like, yeah, man, just so I could get some hoes, and I got to keep the money coming in so I could keep them around. And this was just one man. This was one dude in particular.
Right.
Then I went to a barber shop when I used to get my hair cut in Phoenix. And the conversation was talking, and the dude was like, I can't take her out. I got to give my money up. And I'm going, like, wow. This was like the focus of their whole point of having a job. It's just, I'm just trying to get the women. That's it. They didn't really care about their living arrangements. They didn't really care about their careers like that. Like, if they did, the only way they cared about their careers is so they could be so successful that they could make enough money to keep that lifestyle up of just getting different types of women all the time, because that's just what's all in their mind.
That's it. Right.
That's it. Like, flying women out from out of town and putting them in hotel rooms.
Right.
I think that's a little bit much. Like when you're flying them in and spending like $900 for a weekend.
You're right about that. Yeah, you're right about that.
I think that's a bit too much. I mean, I could go fly out or something and pay my own way. But
right. Like
that's if I really want that woman.
I could do that. You know what I'm saying?
But that's that.
Person, like, if a female come out to fly me out, I I feel flattered, but at the same time, like, how desperate are you really doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, really think about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real, like you flying out to come see me? Yeah, like, how desperate are you? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's like a good and a bad thing. And when that happens, you be like, okay, she's spending all this money on me, and and sometimes probably ain't ever seen me if it's online or something. Ain't even seen me like in person, and it's just like, nah, that's a red flag there. But I'm just not that hypersexual, I know how to control my urges. Like, I could see a woman, I could see a sexy ass woman, and I could be like, in my mind, I could be like, dang, man, that woman looks so good. She's got everything I like. She got big titties, big ass, everything I like. Doesn't mean I got to go approach her and just hound her and just try to, hey. We've seen this several times.
We've seen this shit. Yeah, we've seen it. Yeah, I got you. And my thing is like, I think nowadays that women kind of ride that wave of thinking like they could be that one of being the most attractive and all that shit. But my thing is like it's not that serious. Like you gotta realize like you could women don't think they competing, but they actually competing. You know what I'm saying? And you're really competing based on the fact like you're doing the most to get the most attraction from a man. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, you want to sit there and have the kickback of thinking like you're not competing with females. You really are. You really are. You're doing the same shit. So I'm like, well, as a man, like it ain't too many of us where we can go about and hey, you know, approach a female like, hey, baby, like I like you and all that shit, and then that woman sit there and look around the room and like, oh well, you know, he ain't what I want and all that bullshit. All right, bitch, cool. I mean, I ain't trying to call no woman no bitch, but I'm saying like, as men, you know, we're having that conversation of like, it's based off numbers, and guess what? There's a lot of women that are single, not doing shit, based off men that can actually pull your ass. And let's put it like that. That's what it is. You know, me personally, if I get shot down, I know there's 4 other women I have a chance with where I can get at least one of them motherfuckers and move out my day. You know what I'm saying? Women, me personally, don't really have that option. If anything, they really doing off the fact that you know they're trying to put they rolling the dice to get the one that they want, and that's what it is, bro.
So with that being said, do you feel the woman she could be possibly hypersexual as well, but she just doesn't want the reputation of being a hoe?
Yeah, that could probably work. That could probably work in that regard.
Is that a woman's biggest fear?
No, they don't want to. Yeah, you're right, because a lot of women don't want to be judged. They don't want to be judged based on the fact like they can, you know, try to move like men, but at the same time, if they get puked out from it, then you know that's their whole judgment from that. But at the same time, like I feel like us as men, we kind of feed into that shit because years ago, I'm a numbers guy. I play the numbers. A lot of us really do have a cloud of women that we deal with, and we play that game and all that shit. And then you know, when we don't settle down with them, then we have a problem because we find that one, and then the rest of them is out there flanking it, and you know now they's out there like this nigga ain't shit, you ain't, you know, all that bullshit. But here's the thing, it really is true. Women outnumber men. At the same time, I don't think women understand that shit and don't take it serious because guess what? They use their beauty on thinking they can do some shit and they really can't do the shit. You know what I'm saying? And no matter how beautiful that you are, the clientele that you're looking for ain't always gonna be above it, abundant. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So like that does make a lot of sense to me. Like pretty much they just don't want that reputation. But a hypersexual male, he doesn't care about his reputation at all.
Facts. You know why? Because it's all strength in numbers, bro. It's all strength in numbers. Like he knows, like if he fuck up, oh, I got another one I can get. Because guess what? It's women outnumber men, and that's the thing. He plays a number game. It's always about the numbers, bro. Always about the numbers. Women don't think like that. They think they want this Disney outlook of being like, oh, this nigga gonna suck my toes and all that bullshit, but it don't. And when that nigga don't suck his toes, then what? Oh, fuck, nigga shooting the bird and all that bullshit. And that's what it is, bro.
So I'm gonna ask you this because I told you this a while back, right? I told you that when I first meet a woman, like when I first was like a serious woman I wanted to date, right? That I did not bring up the topic of sex at all.
Right.
I wanted them to bring it up. And I told you the longest time that's ever happened is 2 days, and it has never gone past 2 days. Like where it was that long until they brought that subject up. So when you've done that, because you said you've done that before with one particular woman, how did that work out?
I applied that expertise that you told me, and it actually worked, man. Because me personally, I'm not really looking to try to fuck some female off the rip. Like me, I want to know you and how you gonna go about your business as a woman and do your shit and all that stuff. But it's crazy, it's like they kind of morph into that realm of being a nigga. Like, hey, so you're not asking me to have sex with me, and then I get asked that, and then I'm like, I wasn't trying to go that way, but I mean, cool. But they do it, you know what I'm saying? Based off the fact that they've been hit with that so many times, they expect that shit. And my thing is like, you really think like every man can do it, is going to be that like that. And be surprised it really has, you know what I'm saying? But to have that conversation of me holding back and you doing the most of thinking like I'm going to do that, it speaks a lot. Cause I'm not trying to do the most, but obviously your ass is thinking like, oh, I'm gonna go for that, and you're gonna do, what you think you're gonna do, and it's like, no, bitch. Damn, I ain't trying to say bitch, but they don't do the most in that regard, bro. That's crazy. Like, you can flip the script and be the most PC person that they expect, and when you present it, now it's something else. You know what I'm saying? And they feel some type of way about it.
Yeah. So pretty much at the end of the day, with the hypersexual male, like this is the advice I think that me and you both could give them is if you keep up this deviant behavior, you're going to eventually become a sex offender. You're going to go to jail. It's going to lead down a road where you do not want to go, because this is a day and age now where you can't do that aggressive behavior no more. And it's going to cost you in the long run. And if you know how to control your urges, you can be very successful. And I think if you could do that, there's no way that you cannot be successful. There's no way you cannot be successful.
No, you're right about that. And I think when it comes to controlling your urges, like, it's always been based off the man. Always. Because men have been put on this thing where they can never control their urges. But at the same time, it's been pushed forward so much from men onto women that women would think about, oh, he's gonna do this and that and the third, so I'm prepared for that. And then if a man really don't do it, they feel caught off guard, and then they gonna use it against you, like, oh, you think you nigga, you gay, you know what I'm saying? Like, they use that type of that language towards you because you're not doing something that they already expect in their mind. You know what I'm saying?
Like you said, it was 80% to 20%.
80%.
I mean,
it's 20 though.
And then another thing too with that, and I'll talk about something that happened in your past, right? And this happened in my past as well. It seems like the women treat you nice; they'll treat you with more respect, but they actually are more intrigued by you. Why? Because you're not trying to smash them, so they just want to get you on that level. They want to get you on that level.
Right.
And they're gonna chase that. They want to conquer that, because they're like, no, there ain't no way I got these big ass titties and this big ass. There is no way that he doesn't want this. But it's not really like a good thing for you. It's like it's just a conquering thing for them, pretty much.
Right.
And
it's really based off they childhood experience that they deal with. So they always thought men always wanted sex, that shit. And then it comes to the fact when they get older, like, oh, now they gotta realize, like, do men want that, or do they really want that on the back and all that shit? So they have to conflict with that. I guess on the same thing, on the topic of us being hypersexual males and all that shit, a lot of dudes really do have grown up and dealt with that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, they dealing with shit on the fact that they been experienced with I'm trying to be PC with this shit, but they been experienced with sex a lot. You know what I'm saying? And then they're used to men talking to them like that, but then they come across like guys like us that's actually being PC about it, and we just like, hey, like, I like you, I just want to know you on the back and all that shit. It don't trigger, it don't snap in their head. Like, they just think like, oh, you run a game. And it ain't really about running a game. Like, I'm being genuine in that regard. But they're so used to men being like sexualized or coming at them crazy, where they just can't determine that. Like, they just like, oh, this nigga just wanna fuck. And it's really never the case like that, It really is not. But I get it why they might perceive it as such.
There's a thing in boxing called controlled aggression, right? And I apply that controlled aggression with everything I have done in my life. So if I want to approach a woman that I like, I'm going to use controlled aggression to approach the woman. It's going to be still in a calm manner, but I'm going to, you got to actively be aggressive to approach a woman if you really want. But you ain't got to be hypersexually aggressive approaching her. Because if you are like cool, calm, and collected, at the end of the day, you can still get them same type of women. And the experiences will be better, more than you always hounding them and trying to just get what you want. And then you end up leaving them and just totally disrespect them. That's what hypersexual males do. And then we got to deal with the brunt of that shit all the time. Like the 20% of us, we got to deal with the brunt of that. And that ain't fair to us. That's a hypersexual male's problem.
No, I think it's really based off the fact, like, here's another conversation that we should have too. Like, how many times were like us being men of controlling our shit, but then we get clowned about because we're not pulling as much pussy these niggas is pulling. And then when they get the pussy and all that shit, oh nigga, oh you ain't pulling as much as I do. It's not that serious. Like, I'm cool. I'll take an L. It's not that serious. But at the same time, you pull the bitch, and I'm not saying like they actually pull the motherfucker they want, and then you pull it, and then next thing you know, like, oh, I want another one. You're not even satisfied, bro. You're not even satisfied, but you just want to continue to fuck something.
Like, remember, I practiced abstinence for a long time. I think until I was like 21 years old. I had practiced abstinence so I was 21. Like, and it would kill me. Like, how many times people would make fun of me about not getting no ass. Like, they just make fun of me. Like it was just, that was, like you said, that is the number one option. That's the number one goal on a lot of men's lists. And it's like, man, like, when you get older and you realize that doesn't really mean nothing,
it don't.
Then they'll understand later. But I'm just glad that I was able to catch a grip on that as a young man, and now I'm controlled. My urges is controlled and stuff, and I know when to approach, when not to approach, when to be aggressive. The only time you should have to be aggressive with a woman is if you're having sex with her. That's the only time. And it's control, and it's controlled aggression. Like I say, I take that mentality that I learned from boxing into every aspect of life. It's controlled aggression. You're very conscious of how you're being aggressive.
Right.
But they'll learn. They're gonna learn. So that's an interesting thing we talked about here tonight on Nights with Ricky, the hypersexual male. We could talk about this several episodes. There's so many layers to it. but
Yeah, there's a
definitely
lot of layers
need to
to
be
it, bro.
addressed.
Like for real. Right, for real.
So yeah, I'm
And
glad you brought that one up.
right. And my thing is like, I'm not trying to shit on other, on men trying to get what they want. That's fine. Like, do you all day, do you? But at the same time, I feel like you're a lot of men allow that to overcome their actual goals and what they trying to accomplish, based off the fact that you just want that. And it's really not about that, man. Like, just really get your bread, be on your purpose, and do what you need to do. And that's the thing. Like, just do that. And I hope if you put this out there, like, my thing is like, just do that. Like, it's always gonna be there. Since the age of time, women has always been there for men. All right, we back.
All right, we're back. We're back.
Yeah.
Yeah, who cares? Yeah, who cares? That is right. Noah asked Ricky. That was one of the names. That's what I was called. That is right. You know. Oh, what else? What else? Ways out. Now that's some Denver slang right there. Ways out. And then look at that. Look, ass whoopings during intimacy saves relationships. That is true. That is true. So yeah, the hypersexual male. But yeah, that's a good topic. We're gonna have to talk about that more and more. So definitely. So what else do you think there's like an issue that's going on right now? You
Can you
said,
hear me?
yeah, I can hear you.
I'm saying, what are you saying? Like, what are other issues that we having as far as like um that men are dealing with men when it comes to women?
Yeah, when it comes to women, like, do you feel that women? Okay, what percentage of women do you think actually respect men today?
Um, that's a good question, bro. I would say like I would put 70. I would put 70%. 70% of women are really not respecting men at all because they think they can use their beauty on making clout and making money and all that stuff, and that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, I can't knock them. It's a hustle, but at the same time, it drives your value down of you feeling. Well, no, actually, at the same time, it makes women think like, well, men should be on a certain platform where they should be able, that man should be able to take care of them and all that shit. And it really isn't like that. It's not. Like, let's be honest. Like we're getting to the point where women are actually outnumbering men in the fashion of making money. But at the same time, these same women want to have some big tycoon type man of being on I guess the level they are, and they're not really getting there. You know what I'm saying? Like men, we are marathon type people as far as men. Like we're a marathon. Like we gotta get our shit like slow motion. But when we get there, we good. Women right nowadays is really getting their shit off degrees, getting there based off like networking and all that shit and doing that. And they're really doing it big. Can't knock them for it, bro. But at the same time, their expectations is not aligning with the men how are really trying to do it the right way and being men of slow motion. Like why do women date? Well, let's put it like this: why do certain women date men that are older and then they younger, but these young women want to date these older men? You know why? Because that older man got his shit slow motion. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, they got it together. It's a secure situation.
Right, it's a secure situation.
And at the end of the day, I think women do respect. They respect men, but they only respect men that will secure their livelihood.
Yeah, their future. Secure their future.
Yeah. Not only their livelihood, their future. That is true. Like that's all they. That's what they really respect.